What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Itchy, and I figured now was as good a time as any to give you my review of the Samsung Galaxy S4. Let's start this review by talking about this particular phone that I have. This is an AT&T version, and it's a 16 gig version, and I have had, really mixed emotions about this particular phone. If you look down in the description, I will list all of the specs of the phone, but for it to have the processor speed that it has, and for it to be the flagship smartphone for Samsung this year, there are a few things that I have issue with. Let me pop it out of the case so you guys can really see it for what it is. I've had this phone and been using it for about a week, and while I'm not disappointed, I'm also not just completely blown away like some people would have you think. It's really thin, it's really light, it feels really good in my hand. That is a true statement. I am a little disappointed in the speaker because media consumption is a really big deal for me, and the camera, for it to be a 13 megapixel camera, outside of the best lighting conditions, has not really been that great. It's hard for me to take some of the quicker pictures that I can take with my iPhone or with a standard camera. And I would expect, detail is great when you do get some of those, I'm trying to think of what's the word I want to use here. Some of the optimal lighting conditions, I guess, is the best word to use. But when things aren't optimal, things just really don't make this camera stand out anymore from what I've seen of the iPhone, which is one of my favorite cameras to use. Now, granted, I've been on iPhone pretty much since the whole touchscreen thing took off. This is my second venture into Android. I'm just really not all that impressed. Another big thing for me that I think iPhone users take for granted is lag. Occasionally, there is some lag between the screens. And let me try to get in here. When I'm shifting across, sometimes there is lag, and sometimes I can feel like the phone is fighting, like, what do I do? What do I do? And like right now it's scrolling okay, but I really don't have anything running. But occasionally there is some hiccup, particularly coming in and out of the camera application and some of the others. It hiccups, then it plays. Samsung, I think, also has an issue with certain codecs, because there are some articles. I'm big on IGN and other sites. If there's an article in text that a video in text that I want to play, I'll hit play occasionally and nothing will happen. I'll hear audio and it'll just have a black screen, and I'll have to reset the phone. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And that for me is a big issue, and it pisses me off a little bit, frankly, because this is supposed to be, the next big thing. I do really like the bigger screen. I honestly think that 5 inches is really stretching it, and I have a pretty good size hand. It's not small by any stretch, but I think 5 inches is really stretching it, but I can reach the furthest corners. But that hasn't been a problem for me. Another big issue for me, and I don't know, somebody let me know in the comments, has been call quality. I hear a lot of people that I speak to say, "What? I can't hear you on a lot of different calls." So call quality has not been the best on this phone. It was really good with the Note 2, and it's really good for the most part with my iPhone 5. But I hear people sometimes saying they can't hear me, and I just pull the phone away from my head for a second and check to make sure that I have full bars. And I will have full bars, but people will still tell me there are occasions where they cannot hear me. So that, is a little bit of a problem. I do love the physical home button. I think that a lot of the gestures are gimmicky at best, and while I do think that they work, I think that most people just won't use them because we have already learned how we want to use a smartphone, and you touch stuff, slide it up as you need to, and sometimes I can actually find some of those smart features to interfere, which is why I turn them, where's the eyeball one? Yeah, I turn a lot of them off because I don't use them, and it causes issues for me. But again, That's the bad stuff. The good stuff is that the Samsung ecosystem is great. I have their smart TVs. I've got a couple of them, and overall, I'm very happy with the ecosystem. You know, all in all, this is not a bad device, and if you're used to Android, I think it'd actually be a great device. But there are some things that I desire that I just, didn't think were really all that were enough for me to switch from an iPhone 5 to this particular phone. And I know a lot of people will flame me for that, but there just wasn't enough stuff with this particular phone that just blew my mind. One of the biggest hits for me was in the newer version of Android. And again, I'm new to Android, but I can't save all the stuff to the SD card that I would like to save. And that pisses me off too, because I went out and purchased a 64 gig SD card, and I can't I can't save apps and things to that card without rooting the phone, or at least that's my understanding. You can't just do it right out of the box. I can do pictures, I can do documents, I can do videos, but hell, I want to save apps and everything, and I believe you can do contacts as well, but I wanted to save everything so that when I took this particular chip out and transferred to another phone to test or whatever, what have you, I would have everything with me, and I can't do that. So that brings me to my next point. If you are looking to get the S4, and really a lot of different Androids at this point, 16 gig might in fact not be enough for you. I can manage it because I do a lot of I am going to use their cloud storage, but for a lot of people, if you consume a bunch of media, that may not be enough for you. So that's a problem, but that's something you at least need to think about before you go out and purchase this particular phone. Is this phone worth this price point? Absolutely. I think it's, again, a good device. Is it an outstanding, blow me away device? No. Is it the best for media consumption? No. Is the screen beautiful? Absolutely. This full 1080 screen is great. I've been looking at videos all over YouTube and other that have been showing me interesting things about the strength of this screen. Some of which showing that it's not as strong as you might think Gorilla Glass should be. But, all in all, I think it's a pretty solid device, even though some people think that it's a little plasticky. This really isn't a review video as much as it is a concerns video. These are valid concerns, I think, for anybody switching over to Android from iPhone. Some of the things that I've experienced, and some of the things that I actually like better than I like on the iPhone. If you got an iPhone, hell, if you got an iPhone 4S, should you go out and upgrade? I would say it depends on what you need and what you want out of your phone. If you've got an iPhone 5, I would strongly recommend just holding out, because you're not going to get anything that's leaps and bounds better with this phone, unless you need to wow people with gestures and touching phones back to back with other people who also have the same phone. You're just not going to get anything. Your camera is just as good, probably not better, but just as good, that you won't miss anything there. So I think that you would be happy with your device. A few features that I really like about this phone, which I didn't mention initially, are being able to put yourself in the picture from the front while you're taking a picture with the back, and having dual apps run at the same time. Both of those features are very nice. Outside of that, there's just really not a lot that you can't find elsewhere on this phone. And the software upgrade, a lot of the other Androids will be moving to the 4.2 version of Jelly Bean really soon. Let me know what you guys think. I know this was quick. It's not in depth. This is just straight from the heart. I don't want you to spend your hard-earned money, particularly my Apple fans out there, because you guys know I do like Apple. That's no secret. But I think it's okay to try new things and to figure out if there's something else out there for you. This particular phone, while it's very nice and I do like a lot of things about it, there's enough things I don't like about it, and I have the money to change that. I'm just not gonna stick with it, because there's enough things about it that I'm not happy with at this particular time. So that's my video in a nutshell. If I had to give this particular phone a score on a scale of 1 to 5, I would give it a 3.7. Good. Great is a strong term, but I would say it's good. The speaker needs work, and call quality being an issue for me makes it a little suspect. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Should I stick with this phone? Should I go another route? Or should I just, say the hell with it and stay with my iPhone? Down to hear what you guys think. See you in the next video. I'm out.